Jon Merrifield, and this is the Austin Adobe Users Group monthly meeting. Well, almost monthly. We meet on the second Thursday of every month. Well, almost every month. And then these meetings are also recorded and available on the Austin Adobe Users Group.com website. So, and today's meeting is going to be about some enhanced audio tools from Adobe, which I use all the time already. So it's for podcasting, but let me go ahead and get into it. There's a website, podcast.adobe.com. In fact, I thought I had that let me just look here. I'm putting that in the chat box. Where is it? For everyone. Okay. And I'm looking at it right now. Let me also turn this thing off. In Firefox, which is my main browser, but actually it doesn't work well in Firefox. But I wanted to show it in here because let me just close that and bear with me for just a second. I get the Zoom stuff out of the way. Okay. I'm logged in right now, and so there's a free version of these podcast tools that we're going to cover. But the studio one, where you can actually record and edit in your browser, is not one of the functions you can do from the free version. So other than that, most of these tools, other than the strength enhancement, which I'll explain when we get there, are all available in the free version. But you have to have that in Chrome. So I have that in Chrome right here. It's the same thing. And I'm going to go through the enhanced speech first, and then I'll go through and how it works in the studio and what the mic check does and all that. And so I was given this, I didn't know about this, and my friend, Paul Newman, not that Paul Newman, who's a video editor at a company called McKesson. He's the one that turned me on to this. And now since I run almost all my VOs that are recorded, unless I come from a professional house, go through this enhanced speech. So I'm just going to go there now and to show you what it is. So you can take a file, like for example, I have this now. The audio may not come through that great in this Zoom meeting, but so I'm just going to play this audio here. There's a camera and some audio just so you can get a feel for it, and you guys can tell me if you can hear it okay.
I don't even remember last time I've been skateboarding. Last time I was consistently skateboarding was like.
So I don't know if you can tell, but there's an echo in there, and it just sounds like it's, across the room on a mic, and it doesn't really sound that good. Can you hear any of that
About a year ago.
echo and poor audio?
I haven't been in.
Okay, well, I'm going to take that file and just drop it and just choose it here in this browser, right? And put it there. Now the M4, if you know about this audio format, .m4a, which are basically like MP4 audio only files, which I hate, but they can't be uploaded to this. In fact, when you're recording audio, this M4A is really a playback format only. You shouldn't use it to source or record your audio. You should try and do waves whenever possible. But so I'm going to take his whole camera movie into there. I'm just going to say open. And so it now.
Jon, may I ask a question?
Of course.
You just made a statement I'm curious about. Why are waves preferable than M4A?
Okay, well, M4A, which is not different than MP3 that much. They're both compressed, and they're really heavily compressed. So,
okay.
WAV files.
Thanks for the answer. I just was.
Yeah, WAV files have all the audio data, and it's not compressed at all. Now the files are usually a little bigger, but compared to video, audio just aren't that big.
It would be like editing a JPEG rather than a PSD in Photoshop.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like, if you have a camera, it shoots a RAW file and a JPEG. And the RAW file is the one you want to do the work on, and then JPEG just. So now it took a minute there to upload. But if I play it, and it's set the strength level, and it's in here now, if I play it back.
I don't even remember last time I've been skateboarding. Last time I was consistently skateboarding was like about a year ago. I haven't been in a long time because
So you can see me turning it on and off. I don't know, this happens to me all the time. This is like magic to me. This is magic to me, and it's all AI based. Now there's other podcast tools out there that do very similar things, and this is all new from Adobe. It works so very well.
I
And we could even adjust the strength, that's too strong, and we'll
started playing soccer a
really
little
dial it
bit and
in
started boxing.
to get it how you
And
want it. And then you can go, okay, that sounds great at 80% strength. That fixes most of the problems there. And now I can just download a new file of that by clicking download. And I'll go ahead and just kind of mumble through this while it's happening. I'm also going to show a couple other things here in a minute. So that just downloaded, and that's not, oh, wow. Did it do the whole movie?
I don't even
Oh, it did. It sent
remember
me
last
back
time
the
I've been
full
skateboarding.
movie
Last
clip
time I was
with the new
consistently
audio,
skateboarding was like about a year ago.
which I didn't expect that. I thought it was just going to send me the audio separately. So to me, that's just a great tool that I use in my work, even though I don't do podcasts. So I'm going to go through a couple of the things that are in this Adobe podcast thing, and we're gonna do more, and I'll test it here with you. But there's this one called Mic Check. So I'm going to go to Mic Check, and so I can check my microphone right here. I'm going to just start a test, and then when I click on test mic, it's going to record some audio, and I have a Yeti mic attached right here. And I'm actually going to cover it up with my hands and take my hands off so you can kind of hear the difference. But so this is me testing right now my test. I have my hands over the microphone. Now the microphone's clear and it should sound different. And I'm just going to say stop test. And so it's telling me my distance from the microphone, I was probably too far away. That was what it's thinking because my hands were in the way. And then it's thinking that I need more gain. Now, I'm not sure this is fully fledged out in their software, because no matter what I do for gain, it always puts the more or less gain right at that same exact spot, regardless if I talk really loud or I turn the microphone up all the way or turn it down. It always shows up right there. I don't think it's really
John, what does the
relevant.
word gain mean?
Gain.
I see how it's spelled, but what does it mean?
Yeah. So audio, and I'm going to try and put this in what we'll just call layman's terms, because even people that work in audio can't always explain it well. So, in audio, you have gain, loudness, and volume, right? And so they're all do different things, but to your ears, they don't really do that much different things, but they do different things to the audio, right? So, volume is how loud it is, but like gain is like how strong it is. If something's really low, I might want to boost the gain up in not in my microphone here, but in a audio tool. But that's also going to increase the noise level. So it's just another strengthening for the audio level. There's a whole if you Wikipedia audio files, there's a technical rabbit hole that explains all the different things and frequencies of audio and what they mean and how they're all distributed and what's the difference. Loudness isn't really the volume, but it boosts the bass. And so gain is really just how strong the audio is. And I'm surprised that gain's actually even part of this, because there's a gain adjustment on the back of my microphone, but no matter where I put it, this little gain thing shows up in the same spot. I hope that explained it, because it doesn't. It's a technical thing, and you could think of it like volume, but it's not. It's about the strength of the audio versus how
I'm
strong.
thinking it might have something to do with how clear or distinct sounds are.
Yeah,
Whether if I know that Photoshop now can identify faces, and I'm wondering if Adobe products can now identify human voice and weed out background noise. There are earphones for people who have hearing impairments that
yeah. Well,
tune out background noise.
Well, that's kind of that's what this software does, but that's not relevant to gain.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can, it's just a technical term for certain frequencies of the audio that get adjusted lower or higher.
Mhm.
Like I
Okay.
said, it's a whole,
Thank you.
um, audio, both audio and video are technical rabbit holes when you go down and see what they really are.
Hmm.
Um, but I can listen to how I sound right here. This is me testing right now my test. I have my hands over the microphone. Now the microphone's clear and it should sound different. Right. So now, but for me to, that's just me testing the microphone. So, um, it doesn't really do a whole lot other than I can test the microphone and maybe it'll kind of help me deal with a couple of issues, but it's not to record or anything. It's just really a mic check. So I'm just going to go back here and go to the studio, which you could literally like make your podcast in the studio. I'm going to go here and we'll just look at it and do some things. So we're in this, and this is a beta, they're still building this software, perhaps uh, later. Now, again, the studio is not part of the free one. So you have to have a full, uh, well, that's a good question too. I think you just have to have maybe an audition license, I would think, or maybe there's a podcast license as well in Adobe. I'm not sure, but you have to have an actual, paid subscription for
Does
this.
it come with a Creative Cloud if you have a full cloud subscription?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's how I'm using it. I'm just using my regular sign in. It came with it.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm just going to edit the name of this project and we'll call it test. Whoops, test. Okay. So I could upload audio. I could add music. I can put a placeholder. I'll show you here. There's a couple of tutorials as well. But so you can literally build your podcast with this studio tool. I'm just going to go ahead and do that recording again. So now I'm recording because this is a test podcast, and now I'm covering the mic up because I want to just test that and see how it feels. And I'll take the hands off. And okay, that's it. Goodbye. See you next podcast. Okay, so there's the podcast we just recorded. Um, And so what it's doing right now is it's making a transcription of that. And I can hear it here. Recording because this is a test podcast, and now I'm covering the mic up because I want to just test that and see how it feels. And I'll take the hands off. And okay, that's it. Goodbye. See you next podcast. Okay, now we can go ahead and go to filters and then add the enhancement speech, turn it on. Right. And so it's doing its thing. Now I notice here though, it doesn't have the strength slider. I'm recording because this is a test podcast, and now I'm covering the mic up because I want to just test that and see how it feels. And I'll take the hands off. And okay, that's it. Goodbye. See you next podcast. It doesn't fix all the inconsistencies like that because this is a test. But I'm gonna try another recording. I'm gonna put noise on here while I'm doing it. I have like some on my iPhone right here. I have some like it's called campsite sounds. It's like wind. I don't know if you can hear that. So I'll record new. So this is new recording for my podcast audio test, and I'm so happy to be doing it. Okay, so let's see what that does. If I could turn it off, he says. I'm recording because this is a, we gotta wait for this one. Let's see. Recording for my podcast audio recording because this is a test podcast, and now I'm covering the mic up because I want to just test that and see how it feels. And I'll take the hands off. And okay, that's it. Goodbye. See you next podcast. Recording for my podcast audio test. I'm so happy. So I can barely hear it because that filter's turned on. That if I go back here and play this podcast audio test. And but turn that enhanced speech back on, it's going to get rid of that background audio. Podcast audio test. I'm sure that's amazing to me. It kind of made these two things. Goodbye. See you next podcast. Recording for my podcast audio. Now here's another interesting thing. We can edit this audio, but here's how you edit it. I'm recording this because of this, and I'm just going to cut this out right here. I just highlighted this text. This is a test podcast, and now I'm covering I'm just going to delete that text. And so now what that did is it edited the audio. I'm recording because this mic up because I wanted to test that because this mic up because I wanted to. So now if it was me though, once I get my podcast audio the way I want, I would not have this filter on because I can't control the strength. What I would do now then is just download my podcast. But you could also, let's do something else while we're here. I'm going to add music. And I'll just add some music. So, and then you can move these around like, oops, I don't know. Can you? Complete. I want the music to be at the beginning. So maybe I need to be up here, right? Okay. And then add the music. And I'll just do this. Okay. So there's the music that starts my podcast now. I'm recording because this mic up because I wanted to just test that and see how it feels. And I'll take the hands off it. Okay, that's it. Goodbye. See you next podcast. New recording for my podcast audio. Oh no, this is the one without the filter. I see. So maybe if I'm gonna actually export it with the music, then I may go back. Yeah. Well, now I'm in the creative world. So what am I gonna do? Maybe we'll leave that on. Test. So let's just go ahead and we can download this. So you can literally make you can add a placeholder as well as if you wanted to, uh, put in some audio description of what happens and all that. You can actually build your podcast here. Although that's not how I use it ever. I just use it for enhancing the audio or like I did in that first bit, which was I just enhanced or I literally all the VOs that I get recorded, I take it through this unless they're super professional from a professional voiceover recording place. Anybody that's just doing like a demo or voiceover record to a computer or even me, and I have a decent microphone, but still it seems to enhance and help the audio. And like my editor friends and I just love this. Now, one thing too, it's in the beta versions of, this is a beta version of Premiere Pro. There's also a beta version of Audition. But so this audio, if I'm in here,
I don't even
hear all
remember
that
last time.
noise. And then if I actually, there's a window in Premiere that's for essential sound. Right. And in that window, and again, this is the beta version. In that window, once I identify this clip as dialogue, there is an enhanced speech that I can turn on, and it's going to go ahead and process that through.
A little bit. I'm
And
starting
I
to
remove
box
noise,
in,
and I can also,
and
I have a mix
I
mount, it's called here. I'll
enjoyed
strength of that
The
repair.
community in soccer.
Now, I think it works fine. And then also with these other tools, audio tools in here, I think it does everything I need it to do. Now, my friend Paul, he says that it doesn't work as well in here as it does, right in the browser. So what he does is he'll run his audio through here, then download it, then bring it in to edit with, right? And then, make adjustments again, further adjustments to boost the level up more or whatever that he needs. So I just love this enhanced speech. I can't help it. It works. I use it. And that really, other than, if there's questions or things you want to try, that's literally, there is no more to do unless you go in and do it yourself, really.
This is Karen. I just put into the chat room a link to an app I found called Tape a Call, and it allows you to easily record any phone conversation which is legal as long as one party in the phone call knows it's going on.
Oh, that's good.
And it's very useful for phone interviews, or even like if you're at a community or an HOA meeting and people are speaking in a room, you're going to get a lot of background noise and
Oh,
disturbance. But I mean, Jon, I think you're thinking about professional sound recording and podcasts, but we use recordings of all kinds, for many different reasons. And of course, there's the huge music industry and
yeah.
musicians who are recording their own work and may want to enhance the sound. So
Yeah. No, that's good. I use there's an app I use on my phone called Tape a Call Pro.
that's what I put in. That's what I just
Oh, it is? Okay, yeah. I use that.
highlighted. I use it too.
Sometimes I'm doing a documentary and I may just be doing phone interviews, and getting people's
Mm-hmm.
voice.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be helpful for that as well. I should have tried that.
Now, what's the deal with, you said one person in the party has to,
It may be a state by state law, but my understanding is as long as one party in the conversation knows that the call is being recorded, it's legal. You don't have to announce to everybody that it's being recorded.
Yeah, that's the way I understand it as well.
so
Uh,
if I'm recording a conversation with someone, I got to tell them, hey, you being
No,
recorded?
you don't. No, because you're in the conversation.
Okay.
um,
I thought it was one party other than myself. It has
No,
to-
just you.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
It's just you don't want Big Brother listening in and you don't know it.
Right. But
I've been using things like Tape a Call for a very long time for doing, as a magazine editor, you interview people just like Jon said, and
now,
for
now
documentaries, it's really useful.
is that an app for the phone or for computer?
It's on the web, and you can go on the web and listen to it. I seem to get unlimited storage on Tape a Call Pro. It's not that expensive. I forget how much it costs. But you can use it on your phone on any device. It's like Zoom.
Hmm.
I just put a link in there too to this website,
I see it. I see it.
which you can record audio.
Hmm.
Like I do most of my work on a PC, but on my Mac, I won't use QuickTime to record audio because it makes those M4As, and sometimes they only show up on the Apple, and I just don't like it. But so here's an audio recording website. You can do it right in your browser. It's all free. It's called Podcast. There's another great audio tool called Audacity. I'm going to put in the chat box as well.
Yeah, I've heard of Audacity.
Audacity,
Now I use a program called Audiate, which is a program
Audiate.
that's used with Camtasia. And
Okay.
it does a good job of taking you can write a script and it'll write the caption for it, and then it also translates your script into audio. So it's kind of text to
Yeah.
speech.
With the machine voice, you mean?
Oh, yeah, but the machine voice is not robotic though, like a lot of
Mhm.
applications.
Yeah, I've used that.
I hate the robotic
on
stuff.
My the videos I do for Salesforce, they record everything in Camtasia. So I got real familiar with Camtasia and taking their projects from
I use Camtasia, but I'm creating some video right now with Camtasia. But the Audiate really saves me time because I can record something and then just delete my mistakes easily, and then have a nice recording instead of having to re-say something over and over again. I can just record, make a mistake. I can make as many mistake as I can and just delete it out of my recording, and then it creates the text, and then it creates the closed caption, which is a big time saver for me.
Yeah. Oh, and I think I should have set that up. There's another thing in Premiere that it'll like get rid of all the ums and ahs.
Right, and it does that too. It does that, as well as it has some AI built into it too. So you can write a
Yeah.
script and it'll create the voice for you. So depending upon what I'm
Cool.
doing, I might do that. I do that, or I record my own voice. But it creates the captions automatically, which is great too.
Oh, yeah, that generative
Um,
AI, I was a little.
Cornelius, could you put that in the chat room, please?
Let me Google it.
Thank you.
If I can find it.
Or just repeat what it is you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find me a link to it and put it in the chat.
What's it called?
Audiate. Let me see. AUDIATE. I think that's it. Let me see. Audio recording and free editor. Yeah. So it's by TextMix, same company that creates
Camtasia, yeah.
Camtasia. Now, the only complaint that people have about this software is you have to pay for it.
Yeah,
The yearly subscription.
that reminds me, I'm a little disappointed in AI generation now because I asked it to put more money in my bank account yesterday and nothing happened. Didn't generate anything.
So I just put it in the
Yeah, thank you. I found it and echoed you.
okay.
All right. Well, is there anything else?
I think this
That's
was
it.
That
this
thing
is
works.
very interesting and wrapped it up succinctly.
It works. Yeah.
Nice to know. I'll put the chat text info into the post when we put the recording of this up.
Okay.
So, because that has a bunch of good links. So
Yeah.
I think we say thank you and cheers and thank you very much for this great presentation. Let me stop the recording and then we can discuss what to do next month. Okay?
Perfect.
So thank you, Jon,
Welcome.
on behalf of Austin Adobe User Group.
Thanks, John.